Her husband had just died the day before yesterday and, standing in front of him again today, she was not only not afraid, but also hugged him tightly. This Jack was made in her husband's likeness. When he first arrived at home, he was a rubber ball. The skin felt no different from the real thing. Then she soaked Jack in the bathtub according to the instructions. Then she poured the electrolytes into the water. She sat anxiously in her bedroom, waiting for the time, scared and excited. She couldn't hold back her little excitement. She quietly leaned over the doorway. She heard the sound of bubbling coming from the bathroom. A long hour has passed. After hearing the bathroom door open, she cautiously walked over to the door, only to see a hormonal man walk in. Oh my God, this is amazing. Not only could he talk, but he had all his organs. She dressed Jack in her husband's clothes and then stroked his face. The smooth skin had no pores at all. She couldn't believe that her dead husband was standing next to her at this moment. The only difference between the two she noticed was the mole on his neck. Jack was no slouch, and immediately turned out. Mary couldn't wait to enjoy the night. This is a process that no one likes. Let's just skip it. Mary accidentally breaks a glass. Jack accidentally sticks his palm in it while cleaning up the pieces. Strangely enough, not only did his hand not bleed, he also pulled it out directly. Mary's heart began to think. The Jack in front of her was not her husband, and he was very slow. She began to have a problem with Jack. She became angry with him, and used him as a punching bag, scolding him incessantly. Jack also did not understand, but turned away. The next day, she had a sudden wave of nausea in her stomach. She couldn't believe that she was having a baby. She bought a customized version of Jack, the boy she has a crush on. Not only does Jack have all the organs of a normal person, can also talk to Mary and meet her requirements. The next day, she was suddenly struck with a wave of nausea. After a checkup, she can't believe she's pregnant. She came to the hospital in time to have it removed. When she heard that there was a fetal heartbeat, she was overwhelmed with motherly love, and had so much reluctance. She took out her cell phone and recorded the scene, and couldn't wait to share everything with Jack. She accidentally dropped her phone on the floor. Mary broke down and cried, fear that everything recorded will disappear with the phone. Fortunately, there is a cloud universe on Jack's side. When she shared everything at the same time, it was also recorded. At night, the two of them can't wait to share their joy. But they found that Jack was only interested in making himself happy. He has no character or temper at all, and he never sleeps. At the end of the night, he kept staring straight at himself. She told Jack to close his eyes and sleep, and breathe evenly. Jack never obeyed her, but Mary started to get mad at Jack again, saying that she was being perfunctory. Then she kicked him downstairs. As Jack stood up to leave, Mary quit again. Are you really going to leave when I tell you to? Jack didn't say anything and patiently sat on the edge of the bed again. Mary became more angry and, once again, she drove Jackova away. At this point he was completely confused about the inner workings of the creature in front of him. After some hesitation, he asked Mary, do you really want me to leave? Mary's long-suppressed emotions exploded. This Jack is really too well-behaved. This Jack was too well-behaved, not at all in the mood of life. Letting Mary keep scolding, he would never fight back. She finally realized that this is not the real Jack, and will never be a real replacement. He was just a walking corpse, without emotion. She drove Jack away, but she already has a little baby in her belly. She bought a magical boyfriend doll, Jack, that replicates her crush's body, size and appearance exactly, thinking it was a created character. So she did not give Jack a raincoat. But unfortunately, she also lost her virginity. She was bored by Jack's willingness to do whatever she was told. He never hit her back, even when he was verbally abused and beaten. In a fit of rage, she threw Jack out of the house, but the next morning she opens the window. Jack was still standing in the yard, dumbfounded. That's when she realizes Jack's programming must be within 30 meters of the birth point or the administrator's range. Mary drove Jack to the beach again. At first Jack thought Mary was going to jump into the sea, and tried to stop Mary from doing so. Mary did not jump off the cliff, but let Jack to jump. This time he did not follow Mary's instructions, because the factory settings do not allow self-harm. He cried and complained over and over again and, begging Mary to withdraw the order. Mary insisted on insisting that he jump into the sea. Jack had no way to refuse Mary's command. As he slowly walked to the edge of the cliff, Mary regretted it. I don't know whether it was for the sake of the child in her womb, or for herself. Years later, the child was born normally. She had grown up to be a beautiful woman, not knowing who her father was, but the man who was imprisoned on the roof. But the man imprisoned on the roof has an inexplicable emotion. On the day of the child's birthday, she asked her mother to bring a cake for the man upstairs. Mary was torn. But Mary is torn, but agrees to the child's request. The child came upstairs. The imprisoned man was the same Jack that Mary had bought at the time. She was downstairs listening to the conversation between the two men. I don't know what she was thinking. She chose to go upstairs, and the three of them lived together. The three of them lived together, facing the difficulties of life. If such technology really appeared, it is a blessing for girls. Not only can you customize it at will, but you will also be obedient. If you were given a custom person, who would you want this person to be?